Welcome back to Community Conversations. I'm your host, Steve Mantis, and my guest today is Michelle Derosier, a local filmmaker. So, we only have 8 minutes left. So, there's two things I want to touch on.
Okay.
One is, we touched on that you've just come back from the Sundance Film Festival, showcasing your video, The Grandfather Drum. I saw on Facebook, I forget, 1 million nominations and 3 get picked or something. What were the numbers?
Well, it kind of felt like that, actually.
Yeah.
But out of the short films, there was 8,702. I don't know, actually, but close to 9,000 short films, and they only selected 72. And this is internationally as well, I might add. Our film was picked
Awesome.
out of that, and which is remarkable. It was a small, very humble little project that was actually funded through the Ontario Arts Council and the Canada Council for the Arts. Yay, Arts Council funding,
Yes.
because it helps us to be able to do things like this, right?
Like tell our stories.
Like tell our stories. But it was a very small, all sort of northwestern Ontario kind of northern grown project. And
Which is the best.
our team,
Go local.
Yeah, our team is right here. George Renner, he's a great guy. He's local. He's actually opening a brewery right now, so he's kind of taking a little bit of a different course. But he was our animator, and Sonia Lacroix, she's a local. She has a business, Stem to Stern. She was our illustrator and producer. And Elizabeth Hill, she lives here, but she's Mohawk from Six Nations. And then Zoe Gordon, she's a local, she just started a local sound production company. So, it was very little team. And then Dave Clement helped with some of the post-production and stuff like that, and he's living in North Bay right now. So all sort of Northern Ontario, and we're pretty proud of that. Because some of the folks that were in my category, I was in the animated spotlight, and there's filmmakers from around the world and in our category, from Beirut and from China. And, it was just really amazing to be able to represent Northern Ontario.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Woo.
Yeah.
The other video that you've made that's gained kind of national prominence in a way is Walk a Mile. I heard the mayor on the national radio a couple weeks ago talking about it. How did that come about, and what was the purpose of that video? That
came about, really as, I think, just people thinking about the same thing at the same time. And at the time, there was, we were having some problems, as we continue to do sometimes, right, in our community with racism and with, racial tensions. And, sometimes that becomes violence, and it sort of turns there was violence that was being perpetrated against First Nations youth in our community. And we were at a community safety meeting that Anishinaabe Nation, that NAN had sort of prompted in our community. And John Hannam and I, the city clerk, just had a conversation.
I've had John on the show,
Yeah, just like this. We had a conversation and said, what can we do? Hey, let's make a series. Let's make a documentary series about it. And that's what we did. And it's, it was just meant to spark conversation. Like this program, and talking and getting to know each other and getting to know our neighbors, and talking about what some of the problems are, but also what some of the solutions are as well, right? I mean, like I said, we know, and it's becoming very, very evident in this country that we're dealing with a lot of serious issues, around Indigenous and settler society. We really have a lot of things to figure out, but there's also a lot of really amazing people in our community of Thunder Bay that are willing to work those things out and willing to explore what kind of actions we need to, what do we need to do to move forward to ensure that the community is safe for everybody. And that was really that was our intent for that, is just to be able to start conversations so we can all feel safe and not just certain segments of the community.
And it seems to me how society is structured. I've been an advocate for people with disabilities for 30-something years. And what we see is that, you know, we haven't been welcomed as equal participants and have had to try to change that, you know, through activism, through discussion, through awareness.
Yes.
And you know, I'm projecting that for First Nations folks, there's a similar process that is unfolding right now.
Yeah, there's a similar process. I think that one of the distinctions, I think, is that a lot of these discussions have to start to talk about treaties, and they have to start to talk about lands, and they have to start talking about you know, land and resources, and you know, since Canada has become what it is now, a lot of that resource extraction has happened, and the First Nations people have not been beneficiaries to that. As we know, you can look at a lot of the statistics. It doesn't take long to figure that out in the country. You know, that again, I mean, that we are, you know, the highest represented in the jails and suicide rates and, you know, in homeless shelters and things like that. So, you know, we haven't, you know, there has not been a whole lot of equality when it comes to those types of matters, which are really the big questions that we have to start talk about as communities and as people. But first of all, you have to start to understand what those are and the implications that those have, and treaties have in our everyday lives and in our community of Thunder Bay or Toronto or wherever it is that we are in the country. And I think that when we start to have those meaningful conversations, that we can then, a lot of things need to change, but you know, then we can decide how it is that we will move forward, you know.
And we're slowly running out of time. If people want to see some of your work, the Grandfather Drum or Walk a Mile, or there's a number of projects, how do people get to see some of your work?
Walk a Mile actually is on the City of Thunder Bay's website.
Nice.
So you can go to the City of Thunder Bay, and then you can go to Walk a Mile. You can Google Walk a Mile, and you'll find the film, and you can order the series right on the website. And it's like $20. It's really, really cheap for you know, for 4 or 5 films. But the Grandfather Drum, there'll be screenings, you know. We still, you know, we're just back from Sundance, so we have to kind of strategize on what we're going to do next. And as a team, we've just been catching our breath. So, but I mean, I have my own website, Thunderstone Pictures.
Thunderstone?
Yep, thunderstonepictures.com. You know, you could just Google me up, find me. You know, I'm pretty easy to find. So yeah, you can keep posted. Facebook, the Grandfather Drum has a Facebook page.
Okay.
So, you know, and a website as well. Again, you could just Google or just go right to the Grandfather Drum's Facebook website. And, you know, we'll be posting screenings and news and things that are going to be happening with the film as we go along.
Great. And just want to remind people, we have a Facebook page as well for Community Conversations. If you shoot me an email when there are screenings, we'll post it on there as well.
Awesome.
We're out of time. I want to thank you so much, Michelle, for coming on. And we've only started to scratch the surface. Will you come back sometime?
I would love to.
That would be great. Thank you so much. And thanks so much for tuning in. And we're always looking for your suggestions and feedback. On that Facebook page is the best way to reach us. Once again, Community Conversations, and hope to see you again next week. Take care. Stay safe.